Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm diving into the newest Illustrative Faith Kit. This is Rise Up. It was written and designed by Kristen Wolbach, and you can find this over at Dayspring. I will have that link down in the description bar down below. It should be live as of today. If not, it's going to be very soon, so hang tight. And I'll also go ahead in the top right hand corner link to the unboxing video that I did so you can see everything that comes in this kit. It is a good one. You're going to want to pick it up if you haven't already. So day one here, I'm going to be working directly into the booklet. So I have some vellum. Just happens to be printable vellum. I wanted to experiment playing with vellum as tip-ins in this booklet. So I won't be working directly into my Bible. You definitely could take any of these techniques that I'm going to do over the next few weeks and do them in your Bible. But I'm going to stick to just my little notebook there. So I cut down a piece to fit into the notebook, and then I sketched out these little candles onto a piece of paper. You don't want to do your sketching and erasing directly on the vellum. The vellum is very delicate, and it's not going to take the erasing very well. So I went ahead and sketched them out on the paper. I just took one of the candle images from the cardstock stickers as like a reference or inspiration as I was sketching these out. And then I can just go over on the vellum and trace using my Illustrative Faith pen. I'm using this pen because it is waterproof once it's dry. I'm going to be using some watercolor to color these images in. So over the next few weeks, I'll be showing you various different techniques for coloring and doing things on vellum. So if this technique isn't for you, hang tight. I have some different products coming along and different ways to do it. So making sure to heat set that so that it's not going to bleed once I get it wet. And vellum can't take very much water, so I'll show you how I deal with that here along the way. So I'm going to be watercoloring with distress inks. I don't get to do this very often in my Bible because these inks do bleed through your Bible pages, and I have tons of them and I love the colors, so another reason why I thought it'd be fun to work on some inserts along the way. My Bible is getting very, very full, and I didn't want to run into verses that I'd already journaled as I was working through this month's kit. So I thought I'd change it up, do something different, but you definitely could take any of these techniques and ideas and transfer them into your Bible. So what I've done is I've squished some of the ink out on my craft mat. You could use just some plastic packaging. You want to use something that's non-stick. And I'm using a water brush, but really making sure my brush is almost completely dry. It's just a way to transfer the ink from the sheet to the page. If you get vellum too wet, it gets really wrinkly. This ends up getting wrinkly towards the end, but I'll show you how I fix that. But I'm just picking up some of the color and then adding it to the vellum and treating it just like I would when I watercolor. So drying in between layers, in between colors, and just kind of adding in different colors as they go along. I will have these linked and listed in the description bar down below if you have questions about the colors that I used. But for today's entry, Kristen has us looking at Matthew 5:15 through 16, and it says, "Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." And I love what she says in this entry. She says, "We are called to be like that overzealous candle, shining and burning our Jesus light so brightly that before you know it, we have spilled out so wildly that we can no longer be contained." I love her writing in this devotional. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Definitely pick one up for yourself because she just has some really deep, great entries in this devotional. And I'm excited to work through it with you guys here and on those prompts. So I finished the coloring and then went to put it in the booklet and saw just how warped that vellum is. So I'm taking that piece and putting it inside a folded piece of copy paper. And then I have my iron here. I've set it to a very low dry heat, and I'm just going to make a few passes over the top of that. I don't have a separate iron for crafting and for my clothing, and that's why I put it into this piece of paper. I don't want any distress ink on my church clothes on Sunday, so that just protects my iron and also protects the vellum from getting scorched or too hot. So I'm just making slow passes over the top of it, and this is going to smooth that vellum out so that it'll lay a little bit flatter in my booklet. Before I insert it, I'm going to go ahead and go back over my lines. This is something you've probably seen in my videos in the past that I like to do, and I keep them very loose, very sketchy, very messy, and it goes great with kind of her style of artwork from this kit. And I'm going to try to mimic some of her stuff a little bit. I'm definitely no Kristen, but I love her style. If you've been here for any length of time, you know I love using watercolors and doodles in my Bible, so it's kind of right up my alley. I'm adding in some of the little doodle details that she does, and it's not nearly like hers, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing some stamping using these Tim Holtz Mini Worn Text alpha stamps, and I'm using my stamp press. What I have here is a piece of transparency. I printed this grid from the Sweet Petunia website. I'll link that down below. And this is going to help me line up my lettering. This is all extra, not necessary. I'm OCD, and I wanted my lettering as straight as I could get it, and this kind of helps with that. So I'll go ahead and lay these stamps out. You definitely could do this with just a stamp block, but you know, I can't really use this press in my Bible. I have, and you can, but I just thought, why not make my life a little easier, make things more straight, and since I'm working on a separate insert, I can do that. So I'm looking forward to having some fun using some different techniques throughout this kit, since I'm working on inserts instead of just directly onto the Bible pages. So, and like I said, you could definitely do this and then take this tip in and put it into your Bible rather than putting it into the notebook. So I'm going to lay those all down, pick the stamps up, and then here's where I realize I don't need that foam mat because I'm using rubber foam stamps. So I'm going to pull that out, and looking at this now, I didn't necessarily need to use that clear transparency because there is a grid on the back of this stamp press. So now I know. I'll go ahead and pull that off before I stamp. And I'm going to ink this up using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And that's because I'm going to be heat embossing this. If you're not going to heat emboss your stamping on vellum, you want to use something like STAYS-ON, which is a permanent ink. If you don't heat emboss this, this ink doesn't ever quite dry 100% on vellum. So keep that in mind. And this is one reason I like using stamp press. I can stamp that image as many times as I want to make sure I get a good, just very intense black image, and the press allows me to get it in the exact same spot. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that up with some Wow Clear embossing powder, tap off the excess here, and then I can heat set that until it is melted. So like I said, you want to make sure that you're using STAYS-ON ink if you are not going to do this step. And I'm going to make sure that my heat tool is good and hot before I take it to the vellum. Like I said, the vellum is really delicate, and so it's very easy to warp and scorch if you're not careful. So I'm making sure it's good and hot before I take it there. That way the heat doesn't have to be there any longer than it needs to be. And you can see here as that starts to melt and become shiny, and you can tell that it's now the embossing is melted. I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the word shine. Same steps, I just laid that out and stamped it on there and heat embossed. And now I can insert this into my notebook. So I'm going to be using the washi tape from the kit and creating a hinge. So I'm excited to work through this kit in the notebook. It'll be fun, get to do some different things. I have a lot of different products, some dry products, some wet products that I'll be using over the next few weeks, and showing you how I do that on vellum. And if there's anything in particular that you would like to see, make sure that you leave a comment down in the description bar down below, or in the comments down below, and I do take a look at those. So this is just about finished, but I'm going to take one of these stickers from the kit. Has the little candle that I used as inspiration as I was sketching those candles out. And I'm just going to fussy cut the top of this off. I'm going to be using this as a tab. So I'm going to tab all the tip-ins as I work through this kit. So I'm just going to take the top of it off just to make it kind of fun and not have to stick up out of the booklet as far. And I'll go ahead and adhere that down. Now there is some stickiness exposed, and you may have seen in past videos that I've just used a little bit of baby powder on the back of that sticker to take the stickiness away. But I went ahead and picked up one of these EK Success powder tools, and this is just a less messy way to apply the powder to the back of that sticker. So kind of a nice way to do it without making a mess. And I'll go ahead and add the date. Since I'm not heat embossing the date, I'm using StazOn ink. And that is it for the entry today. I'll go off camera and work through the prompts. And that's it. So if you have questions, leave them down in the comments below. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. I have lots of fun videos planned and in the works, and so I'm excited about that. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And be sure to check the description bar. There will be links to where you can pick up this kit for yourself. I definitely think you should grab it. It's going to be a good one. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.